Hello students, this is Faizan Mirza. We are discussing the topic of extinctions today. Extinctions have occurred all over the nature, all over the years. Organisms go extinct mainly because of two reasons. Number one, extreme changes in the climate, and number two, competition with a better adapted species for the same abiotic factors. And this is the non-living environment as well as the biotic factors, which means the living environment. Living factors of the environment, and the competition can be because of a better adapted species, probably who was an alien species initially, and it became an invasive species later on. Five great extinctions have occurred. Five great mass extinctions have occurred in the past, and each of these they lasted for millions of years. They are named as Ordovician, Devonian, Permian, Triassic, Cretaceous. These were the five of the main mass extinctions so far. The sixth mass extinction is called the Holocene era. This is the one which is going on together with background extinctions. Background extinctions have occurred all over the entire history of our planet. In between these mass extinctions, but mass extinction, a single mass extinction, goes on for about millions of years. Currently, the sixth mass extinction that's going through is occurring right now, presently in these days, and this is called as the Holocene era. This is the fastest extinction when compared to the any extinction event ever previously in the history of this planet. This is a threat to the human existence, and half of all the planet and animal species will go extinct by 2100 if it goes this way. 30,000 species they are going extinct per year, which means 3 species per hour. This is the highest rate ever recorded. If we go to the history of these extinction, the first extinction, mass extinction, was Ordovician. It occurred 40 million years ago. Marine life trilobites they went extinct, and this was due to volcanic eruptions that caused deep ocean anoxia. Anoxia means that oxygen was just wiped out from the ocean, so the life in the water, aquatic life, it suffered from suffocation. They did not have access to oxygen, and they got extinct. After Ordovician, the first event, came the second mass extinction, which is Devonian, which is 360 million years ago from today. Reef-building organisms, trilobites, fishes, which went extinct, and the cause of this second mass extinction is unknown. For the first, it was volcanic eruption. The third mass extinction that occurred is named as Permian. This occurred 250 million years ago. Trilobites, amphibians, insects were the ones worst affected, and it was again due to some volcanic eruption. And there was about 6 degree centigrade rise due to global warming in the temperatures. 95% of species were killed at that time, and this third mass extinction is regarded as the great dying in the history of this planet. It took about 100 million years for the species diversity to return back to normal that we had. Then, after the third extinct mass extinction, came the fourth mass extinction. This was 200 million years ago. Large amphibians, reptiles, they were the ones who suffered extinction. This was again due to volcanic eruptions. After the fourth Triassic came the fifth Cretaceous, 65 million years ago. This is the one where the dinosaurs, they got wiped out from the face of this earth. This was due to an asteroid impact that caused global volcanic eruptions. You can see volcanic eruptions seem to have something in common among all these. And volcanic eruptions, what do? They lead to the buildup of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and life form dependent on oxygen. This suffocates in the environment. It lacks oxygen. And you know that when too much of carbon dioxide builds up in the air, it leads up to hiking up the temperature as well. After the fifth Cretaceous mass extinction, sixth Holocene is the one which is occurring. There's 6 degree rise in the global temperature right now. It is being expected actually that by the end of this century we'll have a 6 degree rise, which we can just relate to the third Permian era as well. If 95% species go extinct this time in the sixth Holocene era, human beings will be one of them. One thing that's very interesting regarding this is that when this, for example, this fourth Triassic event occurred, the large amphibians and reptiles were the ones who were the most dominant species on the planet Earth. And when they went extinct, in the next millions of years, between 200 million years ago and 65 million years ago, dinosaurs got a chance to become the most dominant species of Earth, and they started exploiting nature and they overproduced. When 65 million years ago, this particular Cretaceous event occurred, the dinosaurs they got extinct, and when they got extinct, in between Cretaceous and the Holocene era, this is the point where the mammals and the birds, they evolved as the most dominant species of Earth, and most species of mammals and birds, They live around the tropics. They live in the equator, around the warm region of the planet, and they have habituated not only land, they have habituated the aquatic life as well as air as well. So currently, mammals and the birds are the most dominant organisms, most dominant kingdoms on the planet of Earth, and human beings among these are the most dominant species of this planet. Now, this is a very interesting example that I always discuss in my class to make sure that that you guys, the students, this information is passed on to this is something very relevant information when we are living in Pakistan. Do you know that the fossils of ancestors of the present day whale and octopus were discovered in Pakistan? This is the organism. This is the fossil record of this organism, and this is the name of this is it was named Pachycetus. Why Pachycetus? Because of the name. It's since its fossils were discovered in Pakistan. When were it discovered? They were discovered in Kohat and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in 1983, and this was the first time that this kind of fossils were found anywhere in all over the globe. And when they were found in an area surrounding present day Kohat. Now, the suffix which is added Paki to it is because of Pakistan, as I already told you. This Pakisita is not in course, obviously, but I discuss this to make sure that since you live in Pakistan, you should know this is something brilliant history about your own country and the evolutionary link that your land is having with the global evolution, how evolution have occurred over the years. So this organism is considered to be 1 to 2 meter terrestrial mammal. It went extinct 36 million years ago. There was an era which was a background extinction called Eocene era. Carbon dioxide buildup in the air caused this terrestrial organism to jump into water to survive suffocation, and because of it, if its survival occurred in water. And present day whale, present day octopus, they are the ones which are evolved from this particular organism. 36 million years ago, present day Pakistan was not there. It was just a coastal region of Eurasia. What we call Kohat today was actually a submerged region in water, which was at that time called the Tethys Sea. It was a shallow ocean. So this organism can be seen to have sharp teeth. It can be seen that there are eyes on its head. There were four functional limbs, and it would stand in submerged in this water with its eyes above its head, waiting for the prey to come so that it could catch the prey. It could stand immersed in water so that it could just attack and tears through the prey. And this is an organism that lived very well on the same land that we are living today. And one very important thing which should be considered is that Kohat is somewhere in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa today. So you can just see that at the moment our ocean belt ends somewhere at Karachi and Makran coast. We don't have ocean above Karachi, or the sea level is at Karachi. But at that time, 30 million years ago, the entire region of Karachi, Sindh, Balochistan, and a large region of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa till Kohat was all submerged in water. This was all covered in water, and as the ocean it dried out, or as the water it backed out, because this is something very, very, very old. 36 million years ago is a huge long time ago. So the water it moved back, so more land came up, and the region that you are actually standing today, if you are sitting in Karachi while listening to this video of mine, then this part was actually there 36 million years ago but submerged in sea. Then the last thing that we discuss here is the human activities that are the cause of the sixth mass extinction, the Holocene era. You can see the world population growth has been exponential from the semi-nomadic era to era of cities and the era of empires into the global era. Overproduction and overproduction of human population led to overexploitation of the natural reserves at such a fast rate that the nature could not replenish this. Specifically in the global era, you can see how this was the number of human population in early agriculture, and then era of city and states and empires. But in global era, globalization, when fertilizer, oil, electricity was made, this is how the population it exploded. You can see overpopulation here. The load is more coming from the less developed countries as compared to the developed nations. This is the entire load, which is expected to be somewhere in 2150, 6.1 billion people to be in the less developed countries, and way less in the more developed. In more developed, you can see that over all these years, the graph is not increasing exponentially, but in less developed countries, it is expanding, because there are various reasons regarding this, that why the population in the less developed countries tend to be far more at a higher rate, increasing at a higher rate as compared to the more developed nation. About 9 billion by 2150. You can just see that this is a huge number. Carbon dioxide emissions and the global warming, they both go hand in hand. You can see how the measured carbon dioxide value, it just can be extrapolated to go somewhere about this value in 2050. And if it reaches about the value of 550 parts per million carbon dioxide, this is the same amount of CO2 which was there in the Cretaceous event, and it caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, the most overpopulated species at that time. If dinosaurs did not survive 550 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, then how can we human beings survive this if this is the amount of carbon dioxide that we can be getting at 2050? This thing should be kept in mind. Human population and carbon dioxide emissions, they both go hand in hand. So we just combine the two graphs. We can see that as human population have increased exponentially, the global carbon dioxide production emissions have also increased, and they go both hand in hand. So CO2 production and human population growth, they basically are going hand in hand. Now, human population and extinction crisis, these two lines, purple and the green one. The purple line shows to you the human population, the green is showing the extinction rate. You can see that the extinction rate and the human population, they also go hand in hand. They're also in the same way. The human driven activities are the sole cause of extinction in the Holocene era, and this is the sixth mass extinction. The acronym of HIPPO it covers all the human activities which are causing this extinction to occur, and this extinction is just going on. What HIPPO actually means is not the animal hippo but the acronym HIPPO. H refers to the habitat laws which is being brought about because of human activities. Invasive species are being introduced by human beings in different parts of the world, and this is causing the less adapted species in that region to go extinct. Pollution, again by human activities, population growth, a huge burden on the planet, and overconsumption of the natural resources. So this acronym sums up all the human activities. Now, a very important feature here is what this diagram shows. This is just an analogy of a 24-hour clock of how your Earth, it formed around this time 0000. So this is the time when the formation of Earth occurred. This was the time when the meteorite bombardment kept on for. If we just read it, this is a 24-hour clock, for example. So this is when the Earth formed, and till 3 a.m. at night bombardment occurred. This is when the origin of life occurred around 4 a.m. These are the oldest fossil record around 5:36 a.m. and there was an abundant iron formation in this time. After noon, which means half of the life of the planet had crossed, only then the first organism, the single-celled algae, was formed. And around 6 p.m., which means that more than 3/4 of the life of the planet was already gone when sexual reproduction started to occur in cells. And when just a last fraction of the life of the planet is left, we have organisms coming such as seaweeds, jellyfish, trilobite, land plants. We are getting coals and swamps. We are getting dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs are going out as well. And not only they are going out as well, we have mammals coming at 11:39 p.m., which means it's just they although this looks like they came thousands of years ago, or more than that in fact. So the mammals just came as far as our planet's compared. Our planet is ancient if we just compare to the mammals that are here. And human beings, of all the organisms, they just came at 11:58 p.m. So this is just hardly less than 2 minutes before the midnight strikes again. And once the midnight strikes again, the planet will cease to exist. So this must be kept in mind, that where are we headed. So human, they came on the planet, they hardly have 2 minutes left before the midnight would strike again, and when the planet will just run out of resources, it will run out of all the sustainability for life. It will not be able to sustain life, it will not be able to support life, and it will be all because of the human driven over exploitation of nature, and all would cease to exist because of us. So you can see that all these organisms who had survived all this time, they are suffering because of the human exploitation and the human nature. That's it. Thank you so much.